In this video, we're going to learn how to find a z-score on the normal distribution chart if we're given an area under a curve. So in this particular question, it says find the indicated z-score. The graph, meaning this graph here, depicts the standard normal distribution with a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. That's how we know we're talking about a z-score. That's always the value we're talking about when we have a standard normal distribution, which just means it's a normal distribution with that bell-shaped curve where the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. So if we look at this picture, let's make it a little bigger, we can see that we've got a normal distribution and there's some marker over here on the right hand side, and the area under the curve to the left, less than that marker, is 0.9808. So we want to figure out what this value would be right here if we cut the graph in this way to produce that kind of separation of the area. So we're going to use Excel for this. If you open Excel, we're going to go ahead and use a function by going to Formulas, More Functions, Statistical, and we're going to go all the way down to the N section until we find norm.inv, N-O-R-M.I-N-V. So when this comes up, let's make this a little smaller so we can see our whole picture. So the first thing it's asking for is a probability. The probability it means is the area under the curve to the left of the value that you want. So in this picture, they've already given us what the area under the curve to the left is. So we're just going to go ahead and enter it directly, 0.9808. Then it wants to know the mean and the standard deviation. So they told us here that the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. So we're going to put in 0 and 1. And that's it. If we click OK, the value given right here is the z-score that is indicated here on this picture, where the area to the left of that score is 0.9808. If we look back here, we were asked for the z-score and it says to round to 2 decimal places. So for 2 decimal places, I have much more than 2 decimal places right now. If I want to change that, I can go to the Home tab and then go to this icon right here where we will reduce the number of decimal places and take it down until we get to 2 or whatever the desired is. So 2.07 is the answer here. Now this question is similar. Again, it says find the indicated z-score. The graph depicts the standard normal distribution with a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. But this time, notice that the area they gave us is to the right of the z-score. It's more than the z-score. So we're going to have to do something different for this one. So if we go back to our Excel, and let's do this. So this was when we had the area to the left given. Now we're going to see what happens when we have the area to the right given. So we still want to use that same formula, Formulas, More Functions, Statistical, and norm.inv. But when we get to this probability here, we might be tempted to just type in this probability that they gave us, but that is not what Excel is expecting. Excel is not expecting to get the area to the right of this value. Excel is expecting to get the area to the left of this value. But it's very easy to just adjust for that. If the area to the right is 0.1379, then the area to the left would be found by just taking that number and subtracting it from 1. We don't even have to do that on our own. We can just type right in here 1 minus 0.1379. Very easy. Or you could do that on your calculator and enter the number yourself. The number, you can see it's even giving it to us here, would be 0.8621. So just like the last time, the mean here was 0 and the standard deviation is 1. So we're going to type in 0 and 1 and hit OK. Again, this has too many digits. We only want 2 decimal places for this question. So we're going to go ahead and go to Home and to this icon right here to decrease until we have the right number of digits. So 1.09 is going to be the z-score here. So these questions are very easy if you use Excel, but you do have to make sure that you are remembering to always put into Excel the area to the left. If the question doesn't give you the area to the left right away, you have to back into it by doing some kind of additional step.